folk tales telling of strange beasts lurking in the shadows, ready to terrorise innocent passers-by. In Jane Eyre, the heroine saw such a fearsome creature, a spirit called Gytrash, which, in the form of horse, mule, or large dog, haunted solitary ways and sometimes came upon belated travellers. So what, exactly, is Gytrash? I think a trip to Bronte country should provide some clues. Set in the heart of Yorkshire, apparently it's had more than its fair share of spooky goings-on. Marie Campbell is a local writer and has been researching these doggy tales for a book on the strange world of the Brontes.
Generally, Gytrash is a huge, black, Newfoundland type of dog. Sometimes he can be black and white, with long, droopy ears, big paws, and red, saucer-like eyes. He's generally silent, but makes a splashing sound with his paws as he follows either behind or in front of his victim.
And where does he appear?
Gytrash tends to appear in dark, lonely spots, and he would latch himself onto the lonely traveller in a dark place.
So what does it signify if you see one of these dogs?
Gytrash can signify several things, but mainly he signifies doom or sorrow or particularly death.
The Yorkshire moors seem a perfect location for spotting a four-legged fiend, especially if you're John and Janet Carter, who had a spine-tingling experience. John, what exactly happened to you here?
We were just descending this track to join the road to finish our journey home, coming from that direction. And just as we got to about this spot, a very large dog appeared in front of us, a very angry large dog.
So how did you feel? How did you tackle it?
We stood and looked at it for some time. It seemed like a long time, although it wasn't to be very long at all. And we had a choice to make. We could either go back up the track all the way to Willesbury, which is a long, long way, and it was dropping dark, or we could carry on our journey. In the end, I thought, well, it's only a dog, and I'm going forward. So I advanced towards it, and as I got quite close to it, it just disappeared. It's like a bubble burst. It's gone.
Did you know what this animal was at the time?
No, I didn't.
What do you think it is now?
Well, so about 3 or 4 years ago, I borrowed a book from my mother on Yorkshire legends, and there was a description in there of a beast called a Gytrash, which is supposed to haunt this particular part of the moor. And the description that I read in that book was exactly the same. It appears instantly, disappears instantly. The dog was the same. It was big, rangy, long-legged, big feet, a fierce creature.
Now, you've been down the pub that night, haven't you?
We'd called at the pub on the way home, yeah, but only for a pint, literally.
Have you ever told anyone about this experience?
No, never. Never ever. You're the first.
There seems to be a strong link between pubs and these sightings. Is it true that there's a dog that jumps out at people in the middle of nowhere?
Well, I think it is true. I think there's an element of truth in it, and I certainly like to believe in it, just in the same way as I like to believe that there's a Loch Ness Monster.
Well, have you come across it?
Well, I've tried to. We were about 20 years ago. We went on a Barg East hunt up into Trawler's Guild, and there were about 8 of us, and we danced around in the circle with our hurricane lamps, hoping it would lure this beast out. But it didn't, but we were absolutely frightened to death when an old sheep jumped out in front of us.
Now, I've just been over the hill where this dog is called Gytrash, but here it's known as Barg East. Why is that? What's it mean?
Because it always has been called the Barg East. I really don't know. I've heard it called Hell Dog at times.
Do you believe all the stories that you hear?
Perhaps not all of them, but I think there's a lot of truth in a lot of the folk tales that have come down through the ages, yes.
An element of truth, I would say. Some of it goes well with the local beer, you know.
What exactly is behind these shaggy dog stories? It's over to the expert, Professor Ronald Hutton.
A dog can be the most lovable of companions for a human being, obedient and affectionate. But a strange and vicious dog can be one of the most terrifying creatures for a human to encounter. And thousands of farm and stray dogs roamed the lanes of rural England until quite recently. So it's not surprising that in some areas people had a tradition of phantom dogs encountered after dark, often pitch black with glowing eyes. To a few, these were a comfort. To most, a menace, and even harbingers of death. But even here, they could bring a curious comfort to human beings in need. For to people who have lost family or friends through strange and sudden illnesses, it could be a comfort to say that they had died because the black dog had seen and cursed them. And thus, in their own bizarre way, these phantom creatures could help to explain the inexplicable.
Nigel Mortimer, however, has his own theory on Yorkshire's haunting hounds. The truth is out there. Nigel, you've brought me to a crater in the middle of nowhere. What are we doing here?
Well, this particular site is a very good example of the type of places on Ilkley Moor where both in the past black dogs have been seen and in the modern day UFO phenomena has been seen. They're seeing strange UFO-type balls of light which seem to stop the person, just as black dogs did, from progressing on their intended journey.
So what do you think these appearances actually mean?
It may be that it's something to do with the actual site itself, maybe a manifestation from the energies at the site, or we're not too sure. If the person hadn't had the experience with the black dog, which usually frightens them away and stops them from carrying on the journey, they would have carried on to probably a bigger and more mystical experience, which maybe they couldn't cope with.
So, Nigel, do you think that black dogs come from UFOs?
Strangely enough, in Yorkshire there has been an encounter where an actual person, a policeman, has taken board a UFO and saw a black dog.
I don't believe that black dogs, sky trash, whatever you want to call them, exist as a conscious entity. But what I do believe is that in some parts of the world, the land is so powerful, it can transport the human mind into a different dimension, give it a different sensory experience. Next week, I'm going to be experiencing miracles in the Lords of Wales. Holy well.